Hello everyone, this is Chris with Peace of Mind Art and Crafts, and today I'm going to show you a few slow stitch projects that I have been working on, and maybe do a little bit of slow stitch. I recently purchased one of these felt pads which I got from Amazon. I don't know what the brand name of this one is. I know that this one that I ordered was made in the U.S. I try to do that whenever I can. And it has these cute little pictures of sheep on them. Because, of course, that's where the wool pads come from, or the sheep, the wool. And they're made, this one's kind of thick. You don't have to get one this thick if you're going to get one. But they're made to put your stitchery down upon, and then you can, you know, have your needle in here, stitch as you go. And so I thought I'd try one. Thought it sounded like a good idea. A lot of my favorite sewers use them. So I'm going to start out with showing you a few things. Couple of pouches that I've been working on. Now the pouch is, I've been doing these for probably about 3 years, and I just love them. They're very fun to make, and I have a whole tutorial on how to make these like start to finish, so I won't go into too much detail here. I'll try to link the video that I have. Actually, there's several different videos on it. And this one, okay, it starts out as just a rectangle of the white or whatever fabric you're using. And I use mostly the white quilted fabric that I get at Hobby Lobby or Joann's. And I do my measurements, I fold it up. This one's finished except for sewing it together and putting the lining in. And used some trims on here, some fabrics, various slow stitching, cross stitch, some French knots, different lace, then of course fabric. I usually like to include some of these flower stems that I put in. Let me show you the back. Now the back is from this pretty lady is from a dresser scarf that I had, and I'll show you where I actually put her around to the front too, because I had enough fabric, and I actually cut it out along this line here that I'm showing you. Okay. And then I sewed it on the edge with a green slow stitch all around. And of course all the work has already been done by whatever person did this stitchery. Sometimes I found this dresser scarf in not an antique shop, but a flea market shop, you know, where everyone has their little booths, and then they have different things available. And I was lucky enough to find this. It does have one. It has another repeat of this on the other end of the dresser scarf, so I still have another one to use. Okay, and then I use some lace. Just beautiful though, isn't it? And then of course it comes around here to the front. Okay, so I have that one done. I have started on another one, and I'll just continue on a little bit and show you some of this one. I was going to try to do this one mostly in neutral colors. So I've got this brown, which really is not a super attractive piece of fabric, but I really liked it for the contrast. I used a doily here. I'm going to sew this whole doily down, and of course this is an antique, a little tiny antique doily, which I want to showcase, so I'm going to use all of it. I'm not going to put it underneath. For example, I wouldn't want to put this over the top of it, so I want to show all of it. And I'll probably do some slow stitching in between here. I did recently purchase some of this dotted netting, which is really cool. I've been looking for this everywhere, and I got it on Amazon. Just go to Amazon and type in dotted netting. And they have all different kinds of netting and colors and so on. Okay, so I'll probably put that here. I'm not sure yet, but I probably will. I probably will put that here on the side with the ends. The ends will probably go back over to the back. At least part way to the back. Then on the back, I have some fabrics. This is from an antique, I think tablecloth or table runner. Probably a table runner because it's not that big. But beautiful stitching on here too. I'm sure this is machine done. But it is from an older piece. And then I took a few pieces of the brown from the front to add, to give it a little bit of contrast, and of course I'll slow stitch in between. Now I'm going to make some of these flowers, and I cut a back and then a center, and then I'm going to sew into that. I'm going to sew a small bead, maybe a pearl or something like that. And if I get to it, I'll show you on one of my smaller pieces how to do that. So I got that ready. Now I need to do, and of course I can use either pins, or a lot of times I use my glue stick just to tack it down, to hold it in place. And the reason I use the glue stick, of course, is so that the glue doesn't dry thick and into like a sheet of plastic that's hard to sew through. This just dries, and you just have to put a little bit of it on to hold it down. This, of course, will be edged on here, so this won't show. This will be sewn on the edge, and I'll do some stitching in there. Okay, now I did. Let me go ahead and pin this on so I can remember where I was going to put it, even though I can still change it around if I want to. I want to make sure I get it far enough from this side so that it doesn't get sewn into the seam of the pouch. Let me just put a little pin here. Now the glue stick won't work on this because it's much too heavy to glue it down. So I'll just pin it for now. And these will probably go at least a little ways to the back. Okay, and what I decided for this was, at first I was going to use this, but then it wasn't really long enough, so I decided that I might try to do this piece. And have it go over to the back. And then of course I'd have to, again, I don't want to get it too caught up in this side seam, so I'm going to, although this won't be sewn into the seam, this will be overcast, as you'll see if you watch one of the videos on how to make one of these. So, but I still don't want to get it too close to the edge. And I'm trying to get it so that it sits down further, so that it goes over this bottom flap. And let me use some of my glue on this. It should hold it down, at least temporarily. And when I get ready to sew, do my slow stitching, I'll be able to maneuver it around a little bit. Now there is going to be a closure here, like a button, so I want to make sure I don't have anything real elaborate that button might cover over that I want to show. Okay, show you here. Okay. Now, on this side, I can clip this off. I do kind of want to keep that little rosebud, so it's okay if I don't quite meet over here. What I can do is when I do some stitching, I can do some decorative stitching to stitch that down, and then I still have this pretty piece to use on something else. Okay, let's turn this over, and of course I can go onto the back with this. Glue that down. Now, you don't have to wait to do your slow stitching. You don't have to wait until you get everything glued down on all the different sides. You can do a little bit as you go. See how it's working out. You might want to change something or whatever on there. And what I'll probably do on these flowers is I'll give them a stem that goes down, and then I'll give them some leaves that are sewn with the embroidery floss. That'd be pretty. And when I get this one done, and this one, I'll sew the lining in them, and then I'll put them on my Etsy shop. I do have a kit available for these pouches that is on my Etsy shop, and I give you more than enough of fabrics and laces and so on to choose from, so that you could you probably have extra left over, and which you can save for other slow stitches. But the reason I do that is because I want to give you to be able to have a choice of what fabrics you actually use on your pouch. I don't want to just give you just enough so that you absolutely have to use every one. And also, if you have your own, and you order a kit and you have your own little pieces that you might want to use, lace from something that your grandma made or something, then you can do that as well. Okay, so I'll put those aside for now. I have these other scraps that I'm going to put with this, just in case I need some more stuff on that one. And I'll put that aside to sew later. I was going to show some of my other projects that I've been working on. Mainly some slow stitched hearts. Now those of you that have been to my Etsy shop and may have noticed that I have some, I've had some of these in the past in my Etsy shop. I don't have any right now, and I'm planning on making some more for the Etsy. And I also use, these are great to use on your covers of your journals and also inside your journals as pockets. You just glue them down on these sides and leave this top part open for a tuck spot for a card or a tag. These I made out of, I cut out of, I have some fabric that has dragonflies on it, and then I put some lace underneath. This is a little snippet from that other lace I had. And these little daisies, that's a lazy daisy stitch. I'm still going to put a little center in those. I don't know, I might sew on a bead. Okay, so I have one kind of going here. Let me show you what I have so far. I have sewed on this fabric. See, this is where it's good to have this this felt pad when you're slow stitching. And I think this will be good because I'll be able to hold it on my lap too, and the threads won't slide off of it, and it kind of keeps it down. And I mean, you can even stick through it and so on and so forth. Same goes for this. I pinned it down just so I knew where it would stay, but I could also have used a little bit of the glue stick on there too. Excuse me, I need a drink. I hope you all have been well. I recently went on a trip to Europe. It was just wonderful. My sister and I, we traveled together usually once or twice a year. And on this particular trip, my husband didn't want to go, so we just went together. And we started in Rome, then we went to Florence, then we went to Venice, then we went to France, Paris. And it was like 9 days, and it was just wonderful. It was one of the Globus tours, which I highly recommend. If you're the type of person that likes to plan your own things and does not like to be kind of have, well, we're going to go here, and then we're going to go here, a set agenda, in other words, then you probably would not like a tour. But being older, we love it because they plan everything for you. Where you're going to stay, some of the places where you can eat, which are, the local type of food, and the restaurants that the locals go to, and it's just wonderful as far as I recommend it. And also they have, each day usually they have an add-on activity that you can either say, no, I'm going to go my own way and do something here in this city that I like, or, yeah, that sounds great, and you go with that. I recommend that you go with most all of the extra excursions, because they're just wonderful. Anyway, I had a great time. I did lose my luggage in Rome and didn't get it back for 3 days, but that's a whole nother story. But I'm back, and I just loved it. Okay, so what else am I going to put on this heart? I love this little chicken. I don't think I'll use it on this heart, but I might use it on another one. Let me get another heart. These hearts I just cut out of muslin with the pinking shears. That just helps keep them from fraying. You don't have to use pinking shears, but I kind of like it. And I'll probably put this chicken here. Might add some lace, some netting, and then of course the slow stitching. For this one, I thought, well, maybe I'll do, I've been stitching all around the heart, around the edge. First of all, I stitched on, I don't know if you can see, but I stitched the blue onto a, on with a kind of a real dark pink thread. It's very pretty. And just take my stitches all around on here. I started down here with this blue thread. It's kind of a turquoise. Those of you that know me know I love color. Although I do love making some of the neutral, using neutral colors on things. Now I have this lace placed so that it hangs over the side just a little bit. That's why I'm checking to see if I got it in view. And I usually gather up on something that's fairly easy to sew through when I'm doing my slow stitching. I usually gather it up 3 or 4 stitches, and then I gently pull it through. You don't want to go too fast because you'll get tangled up. And then you kind of straighten it out a bit there. Let's go around a little bit more. I'd like to say I appreciate everyone that goes to my Etsy shop and looks around, whether it's just to get ideas, to see more of what I make, or to actually order something, which I appreciate too. I think I have 11 slow stitch kits on there now, so you should be able to find something you like. I appreciate all of my subbies watching my YouTube channel. And I've been growing it for about 3 years now. And I still love it. I don't do videos quite as often as I want to, but whenever I get the chance, I do. It's quite a bit of preparation in doing a video. The actual doing it doesn't take that much time, but then you have to edit it and do all that and get it up. Which my husband helps me with a lot. So that's good. Okay, so let's see. I was going to show you how to make one of these, some of these flowers. I'm going to make these flowers to put in the middle. First of all, get a fabric that's either solid or has a very small print. And I'm going to try to cut out 2 flowers at a time. And you can just cut out a circle. I'm going to try to do a little bit of a what's the word I'm looking for? A circle that has kind of petals on it. So I have 2 petals. That's a bit, 2 flowers, and I might overlap them. Okay, now I need to select a center. So I thought I would use this yellow. I could use, oh, here's another color I had. I could use this gray, but I think I will use the yellow. And I think I'll cut it fairly small. I don't even really have to use another piece of fabric. I could just go with that and just have the center be, of course, the bead or a pearl or whatever you're going to use. Sequin, maybe. Okay, I'm back. The video, the amount of time timed out, so I'm back. I was showing you how I'm going to attach these flowers onto the slow stitch. Now I can sew around the flowers if I want to, but I think that I will anchor them down first with the bead. And I'm going to go ahead and just use this turquoise thread that I had. And I checked to make sure the bead would fit through the hole of the needle I'm using. And then I'm just going to anchor it down using the bead. Now you can use a button on here if you want. Maybe instead of the second layer of fabric, maybe you just could do a button. And as you go, you kind of can ruche it up a little bit. I'm going to maybe come in here again and kind of fit up a little bit so it looks a little bit more three-dimensional. And then I can move over to the other one. I'm stranding my thread on the back, but that's okay. I'll be covering it over. And it's as long as it's not too far of a strand. By stranding, I mean this is a strand. Normally, you shouldn't really do that on an embroidery, but on this one, it isn't going to matter because it's going to have a backing on it anyway. Okay, and I'll put my little bead on there, or button or sequin or whatever I'm sewing on there. And probably what I'll do next is add a stem for this and some leaves. Very pretty. Since I have this thread, I'm going to go ahead and use it to sew down this lace. Just add some more stitching. I'm trying to kind of maybe do a zigzaggy type of thing. Oops. Okay, I'll finish that in a moment. I'm going to use some green for the thread, for the stem. I'm using a crochet cotton, which is just one strand. I use a lot of, the colors that I use a lot of, I try to buy in the crochet cotton because they're less expensive. You just get a whole bunch of yardage on those. I'm not having luck threading this needle, which is always the case when you're on camera. Which is also why I don't show it. Okay, so I tried all the tricks. I'm going to cut it off again. Oh, thought I had it, but I didn't. Okay, so I'm just going to give up on that for now, because I won't be able to do that right now. But what I'm going to do is just sew a stem. So I'm either going to start underneath here, or I could even start on top here a little bit to kind of tack it down here on the end. And then just sew a stem and then a couple of little lazy daisy stitches on there. So I thank you for joining me today. And I hope that you'll check out my Etsy shop. Please let me know in the comments if you have any questions for me, or if you would like to see me do some other projects that you might want to watch. I'll be happy to take your suggestions. I wish you all peace of mind. Bye for now.